Christy, this is Beck, and we are part of the executive team and the visionaries behind this platform, and we're so excited for you to be going through this process. We've really created this platform to support people just like you to create a freedom life and business. And if you're here, it means that you are a freedom seeker. You are somebody who is deeply, deeply passionate and devoted to creating life in your terms and really creating a business and a brand and a legacy that actually really gives you the freedom that you truly desire. And so there is nothing more that we love to talk about than creating.
Nothing more, literally.
Exactly.
This is what we love to talk about.
This is like our life's work, right? To actually support people to create the freedom that they're here to live. And the system that we know it with, as we've been brought up, wasn't truly designed for us to actually thrive. We've been for so long indoctrinated into outdated beliefs, outdated mindsets, systems that really aren't supportive for us to be fully empowered. And so in this platform, you're really going to go on a whole deep dive and a whole journey to actually really support you to understand what is it that you truly want, right? What do you really truly desire for your life? And you're going to really unpack that in this discovery process. You're going to learn all the tools to actually create a personal brand so you can be paid to be yourself. You're going to understand business offers that actually, are thriving in the current times that we're living in. And, this is really about you really giving yourself full permission to go, okay, cool. Like, what is the life that I'm truly here to live? What is that dream income? What is that dream lifestyle? What is the business that actually matches and meets my values so that you can live a life where it's not just about creating the financial freedom that you're here to live, but it's also about being deeply fulfilled, right? And on purpose. And so, just a little bit about my story before we start to dig into some of the beautiful discovery process questions that we have here so that you can unpack all of this. I'm sitting here talking about freedom and creating a brand and a business and a legacy on your terms. But my life wasn't always like that. 4.5 years ago, I was a very frustrated, burnt out entrepreneur. I had left my corporate job 6 years prior to that on a quest to create my dream lifestyle and on a quest to actually create freedom. I wanted to have the time to enjoy the things I wanted to enjoy. I wanted to have the money so I didn't have to check my bank account every time I wanted to say yes to things. I wanted to be able to wake up and do what I want when I wanted. And so I left my corporate job and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm much bigger than a living paycheck to paycheck. I want to create this really beautiful life for myself that I know I deeply deserve. And that was in my dreams. And so I went on this quest and I had so many different businesses in that 6 years. Like, I went to every seminar, I went to every webinar, I read every book, and I was like, really deeply devoted to creating this life. And so I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I started all these different businesses. I tried low ticket network marketing. I had a cafe at one point, so a traditional business. I had an eBay store. I had all sorts of different businesses.
What haven't you done?
I know, right? Like, I literally was just like, threw myself in. I'm like, cool, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And it was such a big journey of trying to figure out, how do I actually create freedom? And I remember when I started my cafe, I was like, this is going to be it. Like, this is my ticket to freedom, because I was deeply passionate about creating freedom for myself, but also obviously creating impact. And when we can contribute and when we can impact, like, that's what actually fulfills us, right? So I wanted to create these things. And when I started my cafe, I was like, this is going to be it. And very quickly in that journey, I started to realize that was actually not going to get me to where I wanted to go in my life. And instead, what ended up happening was I was working 18 hours a day. My staff were getting paid more than I was. I was barely meeting my supplier bills. I ended up having to move out of my house and live on couches and in my car and all sorts of crazy stuff just to try and get by and to try and keep my business afloat. I ended up having a nervous breakdown. So literally one day I could not physically get out of bed. My body had shut down, and I had stage 5 adrenal fatigue. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was so frustrated because I was like, I've literally read every personal development book, and I've gone to all these things, and I've tried all these businesses, and why am I still in this position? And for a few more years, I was still stuck on that entrepreneur hamster wheel. And it got to a point where I literally had reached rock bottom. My husband and I, we had our first baby on the way, and we were still completely broke, driving around in a car that was breaking down at the lights, getting evicted from our apartment, always stuck in this situation of being broke, not knowing how we were going to pay the rent. And I was like trying to put out coaching programs. I was trying to run webinars and put out all these programs. And it was just, I wasn't getting anywhere. And I literally almost was just like, what are we going to do? I told my hubby to go and get a job. And he was like, no way, give me 90 days. And so I was like, all right, we've got 90 days to sort this out. So I was almost like asking for an opportunity. I was almost like, show me something that can actually support me to create the life that I'm here to live. And it was in those moments very quickly that I came across 3 pillars that completely changed everything for me. And I implemented those 3 pillars, and these are the 3 pillars we now teach inside of this platform. And have different investments and different businesses and created the life that was that I only ever dreamt about. And so now, I'm not here because I need to be here. I'm here because I deeply am devoted to supporting other people to create this for themselves and to understand and know that everyday people can create extraordinary lives. And it doesn't matter where you're at in your journey. It doesn't matter how much debt you have. It doesn't matter what's happened in your life. There gets to be a new way for you for moving forward, a way for you to truly, truly, truly thrive. So we're going to invite you in a moment to really go through some really powerful questions that have completely shifted the game for so many people. And it takes you on a journey to really discover, what do you truly want for yourself? What does freedom actually mean to you? What is the life that you're here to live? And it's a full permission slip for you to really expand and really go, yeah, actually, this is what I'm claiming. This is what I fully desire. And these questions changed my life. Like, I had never asked myself these questions. I was just going around and around in circles. And then I actually, had these questions presented to me, and I went through them and I got fully clear. And clarity is the first step of actually creating the life that you're here to live, right? You might be thinking right now, but how? How do I actually create that? And we're gonna take you through some ways that you can through strategy. But first and foremost, it's about getting crystal clear for yourself on what do you actually desire? What do you actually want? Because from there, then you can actually understand what are the strategies that are going to support you to create that. So I'm going to now hand over to Beck. She's going to share a little bit about, her journey to creating a freedom life and business on her terms. And then we'll dig into the questions.
Thank you, my love. Your story inspires me every time I hear it. And I think it's so powerful because that really is why we're here, and we're both so, so passionate. And I really want to honor you guys for having the courage to even be here right now and know that there's something more inside of you and there's something more available to you. That's why you're here. And we're really, really excited because we have actually helped hundreds, if not thousands, of entrepreneurs to be able to create this for themselves. And the how is really simple. We're actually going to teach you the strategy and teach you the how and give you the vehicle. The why is what we really want to take you on a journey through, because as Christy said, these questions that we're about to ask you are so powerful. And when I actually asked myself these questions 3.5 years ago, it really got me to where I am now. And where I am now is literally living my dream life. And, we're actually filming at my house right now, or in my beautiful sanctuary. And this life that I'm living is what I could only ever dream of. And I'll take you back a little bit to where I was, right? Because I think it's so important for people to really understand that no matter where you are now, you have every opportunity to get to where you're going and where you want to be. So 8 years ago, I was actually a travel manager. I was working in corporate. I was really passionate about my job. I loved travel. I had been traveling all of my life, and I love sending people on, their dream holidays. I actually really love my job, but I ended up getting very burnt out. I could never take holidays for myself. I was always working, and it just got really, really exhausting being part of a system that just seemed like it wasn't set up for me to succeed. There was actually no freedom, and my highest value is freedom, you know? And so I started looking for something different. And it's funny because me and Christy have a very similar story. I actually used to be a chef in my previous life. And so I was going to open my own restaurant. I'm actually very glad that I didn't now, especially hearing your story. Yeah. I was going to open my own restaurant, and I had everything set up to go. I was about to get, you know, a $500,000 loan. I was, you know, had my business plan. I had everything set up. I really thought that that was my ticket to freedom. And that's when I found network marketing. And so it seemed like a really good idea, instead of getting into $500,000 worth of debt and, you know, signing a lease, and really, like, it's a very, very, very big commitment to run a, you know, traditional business. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give this network marketing thing a go. And so I did, and I soon fell very much in love with it, really just because of the freedom lifestyle. Like, I fully felt like for the first time in my life, I could dictate my own schedule, and I had freedom, and I could like show up when I wanted to, and I had a little bit more control over the life that I was living. In that sense, I absolutely loved it, but I was in low ticket network marketing. And so I very, very soon, you know, got on the hamster wheel and started just being exhausted from the amount of work that I was doing. So there were elements that I absolutely like adored, and I could really see what was possible. And I also knew that I was missing some key things, because I actually, again, like Christy, got really sick. I actually got sick with a parasite in Bali as I was living over there, you know, in Bali, living the freedom lifestyle. And it was really due to burnout. When you're working that many hours and you really don't have the support system for you to be able to live a life of freedom and really honor yourself and honor your body and honor your time. I had the freedom, and I had the financial freedom, but I didn't have the time freedom. And so things, again, were out of balance. And I really realized that when I got sick and I couldn't hustle and work 24/7, my income started to drop. Everything started to get out of balance again. So it wasn't until 3.5 years ago that I actually found a better way. And I found the 3 pillars that we're going to be able to, you know, that we're going to speak to you about, and that you've already heard, because no doubt you've watched a webinar, which is why you are here. And we're really going to show you how that fits in to how you can create a successful, thriving, freedom business that is actually going to not give you just the financial freedom, but also time freedom and personal freedom. Do something that you're fully passionate about. And I am just so grateful that I actually hit rock bottom. I'm so grateful that I got sick, and it actually showed me what other possibilities were out there, because sometimes I think until we actually get to that point, we don't truly give ourselves an opportunity to look for other things. So if you're here right now and you're going through this process, you are at that point where you want something different. And we're really, really excited to show you exactly how you can do it. But first, we really want to take you on a journey on what you truly desire, what you're passionate about. Like, have you ever thought about what your ideal life, your ideal day looks like? And until you get clear, you can't create it, because the how is actually really, really easy. So we're really honored that you guys are here with us. We're so passionate about helping more and more people break free from the current system that we're in and create true freedom, like body, mind, and soul, purpose, passion, freedom, financial success, so that you can really live your best life. Because that is why we are here, and life is way too short to not be living your most fullest expression and your best life for you, your family, and our future generations.
So we just really want to welcome you to this global community of freedom seekers that are here to create life on their terms. What you're going to do now is you're going to go through our discovery process, which is 6 core questions. Please make sure that you answer all of the questions that we have under each video. And this is going to be really powerful for you to come back to at any time, right? Like, you're going to keep evolving. And so, each year you can come back and actually do these questions. And then you'll go through our business module and our business due diligence process. And then we're going to explain some of the ways and offers that can actually really support you to create what you're here to create.
What does freedom mean to you? Now, this is my favorite question because this is where I realized that freedom was actually my highest value. So, do you actually really know what freedom means to you? Is it about having time freedom so that you can be with your family more? Is it about having financial freedom so that you don't have to check your bank account every single time you want to buy something or invest in something? What does freedom really mean to you? And are you actually set up in your current business, in your job, for you to be able to create that? This is such an important question, and it also really allows you to sink back into, like, what do you value? What do you value in this life? Because time is our most valuable thing that we actually have on this earth as humans. And so freedom can mean many things to many different people, and there is actually no right or wrong answer here. This is really about you and what freedom means to you and how you can actually create that in your life. So freedom to me means being able to wake up without an alarm clock, without having to go anywhere and be on someone else's schedule, being able to invest in anything I choose and not having to worry about what's in my bank account. And that is, around my lifestyle, that's around contribution. Contribution is a really, really huge value of mine. So being able to contribute to causes that I'm really passionate about and just being able to live life on my terms. So financial and time freedom are two of the things that I really, really value. And when I got clear that my current business was actually not set up for me to create those two things, I had to make a change, because if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? So I really had to find a vehicle, and I had to find something that was going to allow me to create the freedom that I desired. So I really want you guys to take a minute, really sit in with your soul, sit in with your heart, sit in with what does freedom truly mean for you. And is your current lifestyle, your business, your job actually set up for you to create that? And if not, are you actually really ready to make a change so that you can step into something that does? Okay, so this is the Dream Life interview. This is the question that is really going to allow you to think big, to expand on what truly having the dream life means. And maybe you have actually never thought about this. Maybe you've never been given permission or the opportunity to ask yourself, if I could have my dream life, what would that look like? What would that truly, truly look like? And it's something that I've been working on for a really, really long time. It's something that I've done vision boards on, and I had to get, again, really, really clear on what my dream life looked like. And it's so beautiful when I think back to, 4 or 5 years ago of really being clear on how I wanted my life to look and how I wanted to wake up every day and what I wanted to contribute to and how I wanted to travel, And on my vision board, it was really like living oceanfront and being around nature and contributing to, causes that I feel really, really passionate about. And it was flying business class, and it was doing all the things that really lit up my soul. And I'm so grateful that I now get to live that life because I really chose my dream life. And you can too. And this is what this is really about. This is about you stepping into the greatest life that you could possibly imagine. And no one's is going to be the same. Your dream life is going to be different to my dream life. Everyone's dream life is completely different. So this is not about what you think you should do or how you think you should live or what sounds good. This is about truly what's on your heart that you can imagine. Like, I want you guys to write this out and spend some time doing this and write out your dream day. So date it for in 3 months' time and write it like a diary journal. and write like how you wake up, what time you wake up, what you smell around you, who is around you, how you're going to like start your day, if you're around family, if you're around your partner, if you're doing something that you're passionate about, do you have your dogs around you and you're going to the beach? Like, what are you actually doing that is going to activate that perfect day for you? And I want you guys to set it as this has actually already happened, because this is about getting really, really clear on you being able to create this. And when you know what you want, the right vehicle, the right opportunities, and everything will conspire around you to actually make that happen. So what really is that for you? It might be that you just want to get yourself out of your 9-to-5 and you want to be around your family more. It might be that you want to be able to work from home and have control over your finances right now. It might be that you actually want to create a retreat center, you know, and you want to contribute and you want to like bring your big vision to life. It might be that you want to live off the grid and you want to build community, you know, in nature and around beautiful, beautiful people that actually have the same aligned values as you. What is that? It's going to be totally different for everyone. So I'm really excited for you to dig really deep here and figure out what that is for you, because we're going to work backwards here. So most people look for how can they create an income and then base their lifestyle off that income. What we're going to do is we're going to create our dream life, and then we're going to create an income that's going to match that. So what is the income required for you to live this dream life? And then that actually becomes your income goal. So you're actually working towards creating the income that's going to serve you instead of fitting your lifestyle into the income that you already have, because there's always so much abundance available and you can actually have whatever you desire. So by doing it this way, you're actually creating so much abundance and so much clarity on why you want to create this income. So how do you actually want to feel? Because this is really all about the experiences that you're going to get to have. It's not necessarily about having the money in the bank. The money is going to give you freedom and choice to live however you choose. So I'm guessing you probably don't want to just have like $1 million like stashed under your mattress. You actually want it to support your lifestyle. So I really want you to tap into like how it feels to be able to like go to the health food store and honor your body and put anything in your basket and be able to just walk out with it without thinking, can I afford this? And be able to go out with your friends and, you know, shout them dinner if you want to, being able to actually like go on that dream vacation and not have to like worry about the cost, or even just down to not even worrying about how much petrol costs, because it doesn't really matter. You have the availability to be able to fill up your car and go and live your life. So it's really about the experience and the feeling of nourishment and nurturing and freedom and support that this is really about. So when you are creating this dream life, put all of those little things in, put everything of how it's actually going to make you feel to be able to live this beautiful, expanded dream life that is actually what you desire, and claiming that. Claiming what you desire, because it's really, really important that you understand you are so deserving of having the life that you want, and really stepping into a place of claiming the life that you want so that you can create it. I'm so excited for you to really deep dive into this, because this is a question that is going to radically change your life and change your future if you choose to allow yourself to go there. So, who do you need to become now? Now that we've just gone through those powerful questions, who do you actually need to become to create that life that you're committed to? So who do you need to become now? Now that we've just gone through those powerful questions, who do you actually need to become to create that life that you're committed to? So this is one of our favorite questions because we both went through a very rapid quantum leap and expansion when we really stepped into the higher version of who we got to be. And here's the thing, you actually have to do it before you're ready. So right before I had my, really, really big quantum leap, I was living at home with my mum in my late 30s. I had just spent 6 months in bed with some health issues, and I was so ready for change. I was so ready to shed that life and that old identity to step into my most powerful, fully expressed version, because I really believed that I deserved to have this life. And I had literally just gone through all of these questions. And I was so clear that I was so ready to actually have the courage to make a change. And so I literally changed my whole circumstances in 90 days. I went from living at home with my mum to living in San Diego. I had flown over overseas and I was living in another country. I had a thriving business. I had made more money than I had the year before. I was feeling healthy and fit and fulfilled and passionate again. I was really, really lit up. And it was only 90 days. This can actually happen really, really quickly. So wherever you are right now, just know that it doesn't have to take years and years and years. You can actually decide to step into the highest version of yourself right now. Absolutely right now. And that really, I needed to really actually step up into that before I was ready. And I actually got a coach, a very expensive coach, when I had no money. I invested into a business when I actually didn't have the money either. But I knew that the next level version of who I was choosing to be would be a person that would say yes to these things. And it was because I said yes when I wasn't ready. And it was because I found a way out of no way and made the decision to actually invest in what I knew was going to get me to where I want, that I actually created it. So I think it's such an important thing to remember, that you have to go first. Mm-hmm. You go first and the universe will actually catch up to you, but you actually have to go first and step into that version of you that is the successful, wildly empowered, fulfilled, passionate person that you desire to be. So now I'm going to pass it over to this gorgeous woman, because her story is so powerful. And to be honest, guys, her story is what inspired me to actually take a quantum leap and choose myself, because I saw her do it before me. And when you see people that have actually created what you want and you see what they're willing to do, you go and do the same thing that they have done. And so I'm really excited for you guys to hear this story, because it really was the inspiration for me to be able to step into my highest version of myself. And now we get to be here, impacting thousands and thousands of people to be able to do the same.
Thank you. So I love this question so much, because quantum leaping and quantum shifting is one of the things that completely changed my life. So as I shared in our welcome video to this discovery process, I went from literally this broke identity and this broke chick to creating this incredible life within literally 90 days. And yet 6 years before, for 6 years, I was stuck on this entrepreneurial hamster wheel, going around and around in circles and being frustrated and being burnt out and being stressed and didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. And I was tired of it, right? And I was like, okay, if I this energetic work is so important, right? The frequency work, the energetic work, I truly believe that success is both energy and frequency work and strategy. You can't have one without the other, right? You can do all the manifesting in the world, you can do all the affirmations, you can do all the mantras. If you don't have a strategy, then it's not going what's that going to do, right? You can have an amazing strategy, and if you're not prepared to actually do the internal work, then the strategy is not going to work. So what I realized when I got to this point of absolute frustration and being at rock bottom in my life was, okay, in order for me to actually up-level my life and to create my life in the way that I deeply desire it, well, I need a strategy that's going to support me to live my values and actually create the freedom I'm here to live. So that's one part. But I also need to really look at my internal world. What were the beliefs that weren't serving me? What were the beliefs I had around making money and success? And, I had all these things that were going on around money's really hard to come by, and it's really hard to make money, and I can't get my account to more than $1,000. And I had all this stuff, right? from outdated beliefs. So I really had to tap into the internal work, right? Around like rewiring my neural pathways to actually create empowering money beliefs and empowering beliefs around success and what I was actually capable of. And so with like quantum leaping, what I did was, one of the questions I really asked myself was, if I was showing up as the millionaire version of myself, right? The millionaire identity, what decisions would I be making from that identity? So a lot of people will say, I want to create this dream lifestyle. And then what they say is, but I'll wait until I have the time, or I'll wait until I have the money to do it. And it's like, that's not how it works. Your actions are sending a different signal out there, right? If you want to create something new for yourself, or create a leap in your income, or a leap in your impact, or a leap in how you're living, then you must make decisions from that empowered identity before you actually feel like you're ready, right?
Because you're never going to be ready.
Because you're never going to be ready, right? The reason you don't have time is because you're not investing the time to actually get your time back. The reason you don't have money is because you're not investing the money to get your money back. You're not making choices from your highest identity. So what I needed to do in my situation was go, okay, how would I be investing if I was showing up as the millionaire version of myself? What would that look like? Even if it felt uncomfortable, right?
And it usually will feel uncomfortable. It definitely did for me anyway.
Yes.
It definitely did for me.
Yes.
Really, really, really uncomfortable.
Exactly. What decisions do I need to be making if I was showing up as that identity now, right? What, how would I be acting? How would I be behaving? What would my beliefs look like, right? And then I started to live my life in that identity. So I didn't wait until I had money in order to invest. I found a way out of no way. I got resourceful, right? There is plenty of abundance all around us, always, right? We just have to be actually open and willing to receive it and look at what are all the ways that we can actually be resourceful. So I got resourceful. So my question to you is, what needs to happen now for you to show up as your highest identity? What are the beliefs that you're going to choose to believe from this day forward around money, around success, around yourself, right? What are the decisions that you would be making and are committed to making? How would you be investing? How would you be acting? How would you be behaving, right? And then when you start to live your life from this place now, that's where the rapid shifts happen.
So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you want a different result, which we both did, we needed to make different decisions than we usually made because we wanted a different outcome. So usually it's the opposite of what you would usually make based on your current belief system and your current reality right now. And it is going to be very, very, very uncomfortable for some of you. But what's on the other side is actually the very thing that you desire. So by you getting uncomfortable and you actually making a change and deciding differently for yourself, it's actually going to give you exactly what you desire, which is ultimately what we want for you guys.
Yeah, and I always love saying to people, actually get used to living a life of almost get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where the expansion happens. That's where freedom happens. That's where our exciting life happens. If things are stagnant in our life, then we're just kind of going through the motions of each day. We're just kind of getting by and just living this average life. When we actually commit to living a life where we're uncomfortable and we're really expanded, that's where life gets really exciting. Right? We're here to grow.
That's the growth.
Are here to grow.
Yeah, we're here to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Exactly.
The growth game is so, so, so important. It really is where you want to live.
Yeah, exactly. So this is your opportunity now to really look at, okay, cool. If I was showing up in my highest identity, because it's already within you, right? It's just about making a decision. Everything is making a decision. We make a decision every day. The reason why we are where we are in our life is based on our decisions that we make. It's how we decide to act. It's how we decide to believe. It's how we choose to show up, right? So that decision can literally be changed today. And that's why when I made this quantum leap, people literally were like, what has happened? Like, how on earth did you go from that chick to this like successful chick pretty much like in a blink of an eye? It was like, because I actually was committed to making an identity shift, right? I had to actually show up and make decisions in a different way to how I'd shown up previously for my whole adult life, my whole life up until that point. So this is your opportunity to really, investigate that and really look at that. And there's some powerful questions below for you to look at and actually answer so that, you can identify this for yourself and the choices you get to make for moving forward. So is there anything stopping you or in the way of you creating this dream life for yourself? Okay. If so, why are you tolerating that in your life? Okay, why are you tolerating that for yourself? Why are you letting that be the thing that would actually stop you? And why haven't you created this up until this point, right? So, for example, there's a lot of people that will tolerate themselves playing small or staying comfortable in their life because they're scared of X, Y, and Z. They're scared of what people are going to think of them. They're scared of what, Auntie Joe's going to say. They're scared of
the biggest one,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
Auntie Joe's dog's going to say.
Joe's dog, exactly. They're scared of what Karen from school's going to say, right? Like, why are people making their fears bigger than their dreams? If we want to create our dream life, we get to make our dreams bigger than our fears and live in a world where there is limitless possibilities available to us, right? And keep expanding into that. But when we start to actually play into the fears, we start to allow ourselves to live a life that's not actually true to us. And so, for example, like I speak to so many women and they want to change their life and they really want to create this beautiful life for themselves and for their family. And then the thing that stops them is their husband has to make the decision for them, or their husband says no. And if that's you, or other way around, it might be you're the husband and your wife says no. Why are you tolerating that in your relationship? Something that works really well in my relationship is that we are actually we really give each other permission to say yes to the things that we really want to say yes to, right? We're not holding each other back from our visions and our dreams. And so what is it for you, if anything, right? Like, is it that there is something there around what are people going to think? Right? Is it around, what Karen from high school is going to say? And then I want you to actually really stop and go, is that really actually empowering and supportive? Is that actually really going to support me to thrive? And do those things actually really matter? Like, if you're here to live your dream life, why are you allowing those things to get in the way? Okay, because this gets to be the day that you make a stand for, I will not tolerate this in my life anymore. I will not tolerate living my life paycheck to paycheck. I will not tolerate, living my life based on the government, or I won't tolerate, having to ask somebody if I want to do something.
Or Karen's opinion.
Right? Karen's opinion you don't need to tolerate that anymore. This is like you taking full responsibility of your life for moving forward and going, cool, like I draw a line in the sand. I will not tolerate this moving forward.
And I think one of the biggest things is actually, what are you tolerating from yourself? One of the biggest things that holds people back, I know this was for me, I was actually holding myself back from stepping into my greatness. I was actually doubting myself. So sometimes the biggest block that you have is actually you. And it's actually the limiting beliefs and the doubt that you actually have about yourself. I got so sick of my own excuses. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, of my own excuses of why I wasn't living my dream life and why I wasn't stepping into my power and why I wasn't living the fulfilled life that I actually wanted to live. And I had to get real with myself. I had to take radical self-responsibility for the life that I was living, and I needed to make a decision and a choice that I was choosing something different. So if that's you, if you are your biggest block right now, I want you guys to really ask yourselves, am I okay with this being my current reality for the next 10 years? Or am I going to allow myself to step into my power and choose a different life? Am I going to back myself? Am I going to pour belief into myself? Am I actually going to really allow myself to have what I desire? Because the only person that can actually make that decision is you. Once
Exactly.
you've gone through the family and maybe the partner and all the other outside external experiences and the outside external environment, but really this actually comes down to you and you making a choice. And most people are stopped by their own excuses, their own limiting beliefs, their own doubts. And if that's you, it's actually time to make a decision if you're going to allow that to continue and if you're going to tolerate that from yourself any longer.
Yeah. And wouldn't you rather like go out there and actually prove to yourself that you're capable of actually creating what is truly within you and on your heart rather than never doing it, right? Like even if the worst fears happen, like I've had so many fears along my journey, but even if the worst fears happen, guess what? I'll still be okay, right? Like that's the thing. People get so attached to this, but it's like, even if that happens, like, so what? You'll still be okay. You'll learn something awesome. You'll experience something awesome and you'll still be all right.
Most people actually spend the majority of their time worrying about things that are never going to happen. And that is actually like the biggest cause of procrastination, of not making decisions, of playing small, thinking about all the things that could happen. Guess what? You don't actually have to think about that. You just have to think about your dream life and what you're choosing to make happen. And as Christy said, if the worst case scenario happens, what's
all good? You're still going to be all right.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? You're still going to be alive. You're still going to be thriving, and you're actually going to be stepping into a forward motion. That is the biggest thing here, you know, like failure is just lessons learned on how to create something better. So as long as you're in forward motion, I know how many times I have failed over the last years, over my life, really. And when you can really step into a place of not fearing when things go wrong and not doubting yourself when things go wrong and just seeing it all as a beautiful lesson in how to actually get it right, then you can always be in a forward motion and you don't actually hold yourself back because you're not fearful of anything.
Mm-hmm. So get clear for yourself. Is there anything that would stop you from creating this? If so, what? And what are you no longer choosing to tolerate in your life moving forward from this day on? Pop it in the comment box below and we'll see you in the next video. Discovery process. Now that you've got clear on your dream lifestyle, we can start to look at what is an income and impact model that is actually going to deeply support you and your goals and where you actually want to go, right? Over the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, 10 years, and beyond. So I remember reading a book when I was leaving my corporate job from Tim Ferriss, and it was the 4-Hour Work Week. And in that, he was talking about get clear on your dream lifestyle first and the dream income that you want to create, and then get clear on what is the income and impact model that would actually support you to live that dream lifestyle. So now we can actually start to unpack, well, what does that look like for you, right? Like what model is actually going to deeply support you to thrive? When I was, going through these 6 years of creating multiple different businesses, my deepest value and desire was freedom. And so I required and desired a model of income and impact that would actually support me to live that life, right? Where I could wake up every day and do what I want, and that I could create leverage, and that I could create a legacy, and that I could create this beautiful contribution and impact, and that I didn't have to check my calendar or my bank account to do what I wanted to do. But yet I was choosing models that weren't actually supportive of me to live that life. So that's why I was constantly stressed, burnt out, and frustrated.
And broke. Don't forget broke.
Right? So this is about like, cool, you've gotten clear on what you desire. Now let's look at, well, what are different models out there, right? That you could actually choose to create income and impact with, and a brand and a business and a legacy with. So first and foremost, there's obviously lots of different ways to create an income. If you're in a job right now, for example, you're in the employee mindset and way of living, right? So you're probably living like paycheck to paycheck. You aren't able to earn more than, say, your CEO. So in that kind of corporate structure, you've got your CEO at the top, you've got your managers, you've got supervisors, and then you've got everybody else underneath. The people at the bottom can't earn more than the CEO. And it takes years and years and years to work your way up to that. Right? Like a lot of people stay in a corporate job for 10, 15, 20 years just to kind of work their way up the corporate ladder. And they're in that job until they're 60, and then they leave that and then they retire, right? So my question to you is, if you're in a job right now, is that actually going to support you to create the lifestyle that you've just declared? Yes or no, right? if you have a business, right, is that business set up in a way that you can actually create the dream lifestyle that you're here to live? So, for example, if you have a traditional business, okay, there are a lot of expenses that come with a traditional business. There is a lot of time investment. Oftentimes, with a traditional business, you don't make a profit for your first 3 to 5 years. And it is high risk and high investment. You've got to pour a lot of investment to actually start to see a return. So my question to you then is, does that business model support you to create the dream lifestyle that you've just declared and created? If you are a coach, for example, the coaching industry is huge at the moment, right? Like, a lot of people flock to coaching, which is amazing. But oftentimes, and a lot of coaches end up coming into our community because they are constantly launching. They're the ones that have to do everything. They're wearing all of the hats. They are, on all the time. They don't actually have the time leverage. And so again, is that a model that's actually going to support you to live your dream lives? So some other popular ways that people, want to create income is, maybe through being self-employed. So you've kind of left employment and then you've moved into self-employment, which is amazing. However, you're still trading time for money. So for example, a beautiful woman in our community, Kylie, she was a Bowen therapist, right? And she wanted to create freedom, etc., for herself. So that's why she became self-employed. She wanted to kind of leave the structure of being employed and be employed herself. However, she still wasn't in a space of being like an investor or an entrepreneur because there was no leverage with that. You're still trading your time for money. You might be able to charge a little bit more, might be $100 or $200 an hour, but ultimately there's not a lot of leverage with that. Then you move into, say, investing, right? Investing's also one thing that people love to look at as a way to grow wealth and to grow legacy and all of this. And investing's great. Like,
we both do it. Yeah, we love investing.
We love investing. We love investing into crypto and stocks and shares and for me, I've recently bought land and property and all sorts of things. And that's great. Like, investing's great, right? However, it's also high risk.
Very high risk, yeah.
It's not based on your skill set or your efforts. It's based on what is happening in the market. So you might invest and you might have some wins and you might have some losses.
Yeah. It's based on something that you have no control over,
No control.
which is actually really, really risky to base like one of your sole incomes on that.
Exactly. And then you've got like options to become an entrepreneur, right? Where there actually is leverage, right? You want to look at something that can actually support you to create leverage so that you don't have to be the one doing it all. You don't have to be the one wearing all of the hats. So to do that, there's basically two different options, right? You could create your own product and service, or you could partner with someone's product and service that's already been created that actually has a model of income and impact that can support you to reach your goals and actually create the lifestyle that you're here to live. And so for myself, I've done kind of both within that, right? Like, I've had businesses, for example, like I've got a business at the moment, which is it's very much like a purpose-driven impact business, but it is a low ticket item, so meaning it's $50, right, to purchase that product. However, out of that $50, there is a lot of expenses. So there's warehouse, there's the product, there's our staff, there is shipping, there is packaging. So out of that $50, the profit margin is very minimal, right? And that business is still in its first 3 years. So a lot of times when people have a traditional business, it takes 3 to 5 years to even make a profit. So for the last 2 years, I've been pouring money into that business, right, to get it to that 3 to 5 year mark where we can start actually being in profit. But a lot of times people reach out to me and they're like, hey, I'm thinking to start this product business and it's like going to be $50 or $100. And I'm like, honestly, like, as somebody who has created something like that, like,
would you do it again?
Well, I mean, it depends what intention it's coming from, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't start that business specifically for it to be something that created profit straight away. But if I was trying to make an immediate income, that wouldn't have been the best business model for me to choose, right? I only chose that once I had a highly profitable business where I could actually reinvest those profits into other investments, into other businesses. So that's one example of, creating your own. And then I've got a business, which we're going to talk about shortly, an offer, which is a company that has already been created, It's been around. It stood the test of time. It's a product and an offer that people want, need, and love. And I'm now leveraging that company and that product. So between the two, so I've obviously created my own, right? And then I've got one that I've actually leveraged that's highly profitable, where I don't have all the expenses, I don't have the warehouse, I don't have to deal with any of that.
Which is my preferred model.
Exactly.
Done for you system and business.
Exactly. Because, something that Beck and I always say is we want to make as much money and as much impact, right, without all of the headaches, right, that usually go into business. So out of both of those, like, you can look at creating your own, or you can look at obviously partnering with one that actually already works and converts. The one that has been the most simple, the most highly profitable, and the one that's actually created the most leverage is by partnering. So this is where I want to ask you the question of, so far, like, what's within you of, like, what type of models do you feel is going to actually support you and serve you? Because we're going to go into an offer that we see is really beneficial to create a freedom life and a freedom business and income and impact and leverage and all of that. But take a moment to just really think about, like, what are some models, or what do you want to see when it comes to a model that actually can really support you to create your dream life? So one of the things to think about when it comes to, having an offer, right? Because in order to actually create income and impact, you need to have an offer. So to create the income and impact, there's two things that you can look at, right? Something that is low ticket and low profit, or high ticket with high profit. So I'm going to hand over to Beck, because she's going to explain a little bit about her journey of low profit and high profit and the difference between the two.
Which is one of my favorite things to talk about, honestly, because this really changed the game for me. So about 8 years ago, I really saw the value of partnering with a product and a company that was already done for me. So I didn't actually want to go and create a product or a service. I just wanted to partner with someone that had the systems, had the foundation, had the product already done, and I wanted to be able to leverage from that. So I got into low ticket network marketing. And although I loved the product, and I actually still use the product to this day, what happens when you're selling a product that, is maybe $500 or $600, the commission on that is actually only maybe you're making $50, $80, $100. So that's actually a low ticket product where you're making around, say, less than $100 per sale. And that's what the reality of most companies that you partner with, that's really what you'll be earning. So it actually takes a lot of sales and a lot of work, which is why I ended up in the hustle and I ended up extremely burnt out, because I actually really wanted to make a big income. I really wanted to make the income that was going to support my freedom lifestyle. And to do that, I actually had to sell so many products because my commission was so low. So the difference between making, say, $100 per sale as opposed to $2,000 per sale, that is a very, very big difference. So that is the difference between low ticket and high ticket sales. So it's like, basically, do you want to sell a $2 million house for, whatever that commission is, or do you want to sell a $500,000 house? To actually make the sale, it's the same amount of work, same amount of time, same amount of effort, but you're just getting more commission. So it's just a smart and a more leveraged way of actually choosing, again, to create an income that's actually going to support that lifestyle. So for me, going from low ticket to high ticket not only meant that I was making more money, but it actually meant that I didn't have to work as hard. And like you said, Christy, it's about making the most amount of money with the most amount of impact while working the least amount of hours. Because remember, time freedom is really, for me, such a deep value of mine. So you can have all the money in the world, and if you don't have any time to spend it, or, you're not able to spend it with the people that you love, then you actually really just have another job. And so for me, the high ticket and low ticket just made perfect sense. And I'm really actually very grateful that I had that experience between both, because now I can actually really see how much time freedom and leverage working with a high ticket offer has really done for not only my bank balance, but actually for my life of freedom. So it's really, really important, guys, that when you are looking to start a business, when you're starting to invest, when you want to actually build an income, again, you're really looking at options that are going to be able to support all of the things that are actually important to you and are going to support this dream life that you've just created. Because it is going to be very, very different if you're working 20 hours a week as opposed to 80 hours a week. That dream life is going to be very, very different. So it just makes good business sense to be able to, as long as what you're actually selling and doing, you're passionate about, it aligns with your values and the product you believe in, it just makes good business sense to actually work with a high converting, high ticket offer. And then that really goes into, you know, having an investor mindset, because everything that we do when we're looking at creating more wealth and we're looking at really like creating that life is looking at things in the sense of, how much is this going to make me instead of how much is this going to cost me? And I think for most of us, I know I spent a lot of time in a consumer way. I was consuming, you know, everything. I was spending money and I was consuming. I was just a really, really big consumer, which most of us are. And it wasn't until I started really working on my mindset of really becoming an investor in myself, you know, working on my personal growth, working with coaches, working with trainers, working on my mindset, and also investing in things that had a really good return on profit. So instead of asking myself, which I used to do, how much is this going to cost me? I used to always ask, oh, how much is this going to cost me? No, it's too expensive. How much is this going to cost me? No, it's too expensive. I now looked at the return on investment. How much is this going to make me? Which is a really, really important piece when you're stepping into this millionaire version of yourself, this higher level version of who you are. And that's how I, you know, in my first business, I got my return on investment back within 6 months. And in the business that I'm in now, I got my return on investment back within 30 days. So it really is the return on investment. How much is this going to make me, so that you can start making decisions from an investor mindset rather than just consuming.
And I'd love to add something there. Like, it really is looking at what smart business investments are, right? Like, when you put your entrepreneur cap on, it's like, what are smart business investments? Like, what are industries that are actually working? And like, even in my example, I've got this beautiful high profit offer that, you know, does good for me and others and the planet and my bank account and other people's bank account. It makes this huge ripple effect. And it's been the most profitable offer that I've actually had, compared to, say, one of my other businesses, which I've poured probably like $60,000 to $100,000 into, right? And I still am not at a point of profit, right? Whereas, as Beck just said, with our high profit model, like, I've been able to invest much, 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 much less than that, like way less, and had the highest return on investment. So it's looking at what are smart business models, right? That's what you really need to look at when you're like, okay, cool. Like, yes, can I see that this thing that I'm choosing is going to actually create an impact, a beautiful impact to other people and a contribution? And is it going to create the income? And can I actually see how, you know, X amount of sales would lead to then, then it being in profit and then it being a return on investment?
And for me, it was actually a really pivotal moment in my entrepreneur journey, because when I fell into network marketing 8 years ago, you know, I really did kind of fall into it, and it was such a great learning experience. And I was able to see the opportunity of, you know, working for myself and being able to be an entrepreneur and having this life of freedom. But, you know, 4 years in, I actually realized that the business model that I had chosen was actually not a smart business decision. And so I had to get really real with myself. What I'm currently doing is actually not going to create the life that I had created in my dream life. So I had to really, you know, make a business decision. And I think as you really start looking at opportunities and different ways of being able to do this, it has to, yes, be aligned. It has to, yes, fit in with your values. And you want to have, you know, high profit and high impact, but you really do have to make a business decision. And so I'm very, very grateful that I was able to really pivot and really look at other opportunities that were going to allow me to really step into creating the life that I have now. And sometimes you do need to pivot. Sometimes you do really need to make business decisions and see, this actually isn't going to get me to where I need to be. So it's a really, really important piece and part when you are looking at business opportunities. Maybe you're in one now, and maybe you're here because the one that you currently have is actually not working for you, is actually not giving you the results that you desire. I know that's where I was 3.5 years ago. And the best thing that I ever did was give myself permission to change my mind and give myself permission to make a smart business decision so that I could honor this beautiful life that I was really desiring. And that's what I've been able to do. So always give yourself permission to change your mind. Always give yourself permission to make smart business decisions that are actually in alignment with your soul and your message and your goals and the vision that you have and you want to create. And so we really want to ask you right now, do you have an offer or an opportunity or a business that is actually going to be able to get you to create the income that's going to support you living this life? And if not, that's probably why you're here, which is a great thing. So now we're really going to break down how we support people, how this platform works, how the education works, what offers we have available, and what the opportunity is for you to really find something and partner with something that is going to make this dream life that you've just created a reality.
So why is it a priority for you to create an income and an impact online right now? Let's face it, most people were not prepared for what has happened in the world since 2020. There's been so much change in the way that we actually create income. People have lost their jobs, people have had to pivot, businesses have had to go online, traditional businesses have shut down. There's a lot of industries that really are declining, right? And so what we want to look at is the importance of being online right now, right? Because when you're online, you can actually make an income and an impact to billions of people. And the way that we can do that is through having a personal brand, right? And having offers that people actually want, need, and love, and that are irresistible offers that people literally cannot live without, right? So what's going on in your life right now that it has made it an absolute priority for you to create an income and impact online? And you may be totally new to all of this, right? Like this might be your very first introduction to creating an income online. That's amazing, right? I'm fully celebrating you. Or you might have dabbled in the online space before, or you might even be a really successful entrepreneur who's already creating multiple 6 figures a year, and you want to be able to scale that and diversify your income and actually have multiple streams of income. We have so many different types of people that have all come from different walks of life and different industries and different backgrounds and careers. But one thing is that, a lot of people that are really attracted to this space are attracted to this space because they really want to expand how they create income and how they create impact. And so, people are either moving away from pain or going towards pleasure. And I want you to get clear on what is it for you. For me, when I started in this space, I was moving away from pain, right? I did not want to bring my child into the world with financial struggles, with, me being disempowered, with me not living my full truth and my full expression. I was deeply in a place of deep, deep pain. And so now I'm in a bit of a different position. I'm more moving towards pleasure, and I'm more living my life from desire and showing up and impacting because I deeply desire to, right? It's not so much now about moving away from pain. But I want you to get clear, what is it for you? Are you in a place of your life where you literally are at rock bottom and you're like, enough is enough. I'm drawing a line in the sand and I'm walking over the line and I'm choosing a new life for myself moving forward? Or is it that maybe you've already moved away from pain and you're really wanting to create more contribution and more impact and more diversification in how you actually create income? So what is it for you, right? Get really clear below in the comment box below. What is it for you that has made it an absolute priority for you to create an income and an impact online right now? Success. And what we're really doing here inside of this academy is creating a whole new paradigm of how we get to lead, earn, give, and receive in this evolving economy. So this new paradigm of business is really about creating a way of business where it actually creates long-term legacy, where it actually creates leverage, where we actually get to, be paid really well for our efforts, where we actually get to build a brand around ourselves. And one of the biggest things about like this paradigm that we're moving into is sacrifice and burnout do not need to exist in this paradigm, right? Like this is about moving away from structures and systems that really haven't been designed for us to thrive, and to step into a model and a way for us to actually have spaciousness and nourishment and, you know, to actually be paid what we're actually worth. So this academy is all around creating the new paradigm of how we get to do business and how we get to create an income and an impact, right? As we've mentioned, like, and this is why you're here as well, like, you know, the systems that we've been brought up in are not designed for us to truly thrive, right? Sacrifice and burnout do not need to exist in this paradigm. Yes, it takes patience. Yes, it takes devotion. Yes, it takes like, you know, being really committed to a vision, right? But we don't have to like be on this like struggling entrepreneur hamster wheel to actually get to where we want to go, right? It doesn't have to, the journey doesn't have to be hard. What we're really about is having fun along the way of creating what we want to create, right? Like experiencing that with freedom and joy and community and collaboration
and ease and flow and pleasure and all the good things
like
that we want to build a business on.
Exactly. Like that actually is what the paradigm is that we're creating. Right. So it's like we get to leave the old behind and really step into this really delicious way of creating an income. And so this academy has been built around the 3 pillars, which we like to call the trifecta for success. And those 3 pillars are personal branding, right? We're learning the skill set of digital marketing and building a brand around who you are. And actually having then offers. So number 2 is having offers that people actually want, need, and love, right? That are irresistible, that people, you know, come to you for, and that are actually doing good for you, others, and the planet. And number 3 is automation and leverage, meaning that you don't have to do everything yourself.
My favorite.
Like
I love automation and leverage.
Yes, like so many people in business are trying to do everything themselves and they're wearing all of the hats and they don't have automation set up. So like my business is very leveraged because I don't have to do like all the explaining of everything, right? Like I don't have to create all of the content. I don't have to be on all of these calls with people, right? I get to like really build a brand around myself and really build beautiful relationships and have people come to me for what I have. And then I have beautiful automation that takes care of the next part of the process.
Which you're currently in.
Yeah, you're
right
in
now.
automation. Hello, welcome.
Probably while you're watching this, we are probably at the beach, shopping or doing something else.
Exactly. So this is the trifecta for success. And we're going to break this down a little bit more in a moment. But I just really first and foremost wanted to share a little bit about, from my perspective, around personal branding and why it's so important. So I've been able to build a brand around who I am. And I remember a coach said to me a couple of years ago, like, yeah, you get to just be yourself and have offers that align with your brand and get paid to be you. And I was like, what does that even mean, right? Like, what does that even mean? And like, I don't have a huge brand. I don't have a lot of people that, you know, on my social media. I don't have like 1 million followers. I'm not an Instagram influencer or anything like that. I've literally got a few thousand people that I've been building over the years that are on my social media. I do think anyone could actually build a brand with a couple of thousand people. Like, yes, absolutely, right? And so I've been able to build a brand where I give myself permission to really just be myself and share like content and value and actually be a creator of content rather than a consumer and actually make an impact to people's lives. And at first I was like, do I actually have anything to share? And I was like, yeah, of course I have stuff to share, right? Like everyone has something to share. Everyone has a journey that they've been on.
A story, which is so powerful.
Exactly.
Everyone has $1 million story inside of them.
Exactly.
And we know that to be true because we've literally coached thousands of people who just get to show up as themselves, fully expressed, and share themselves and share their story and inspire so many people and make an income from that.
Exactly.
Which is pretty cool.
Exactly. Which means we don't have to be the person that, like, you know, I don't have to be like the Tupperware chick or the shake chick or the supplement chick.
I was the shake chick.
She was the shake chick. Like, we don't have to be that. We get to really be ourselves, which then means that we can have, like, once you understand that fundamental skill set, you can literally have any offer and people will come to you and purchase from you. Because the thing is, like, the number one future-proof skill set right now is to build a personal brand, right, is to leverage the internet, leverage social media in order to build a brand around yourself. And I remember, like, we had a beautiful speaker at one of our events, Kerwin Ray, who, you know, shared, like, this was like 2 years ago. He's like, if you're not building a personal brand, you will get left behind. Like, this is the number one fundamental future-proof skill set. Okay, because once you understand this skill set, you can apply it to any other offer. So then over the years of building a personal brand, I've had multiple offers, and those offers sell out quickly because I understand how to build an audience. I understand the skill set.
And the fundamentals of marketing.
Exactly. Like fundamentals of marketing, content, actually creating a brand and creating an audience and having people come to me. In that whole 4.5 years, I have not gone to one person. I haven't had to spam anyone. I haven't had to write a list of all my friends and family.
Susie at the barbecue.
Susie at the
no one
barbecue.
wants to be Susie at the barbecue.
No, exactly.
I was Susie at the barbecue for a couple of years.
Yeah. And that was me. Like, I remember when I started like a network marketing company years ago, like I was literally told to go and like spam people and cold
Build a
message
list of
people
friends.
and then build a list of friends and family.
That you hadn't spoken to in 10 years and go and ask them if they wanted to buy your product.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't want to do
Cringy.
that. Like it's no, like that's not the way I want to do business. Like I want to do business in a way that's really, really authentic and really in like high integrity and really like where people are coming to me. I don't have to go to them. Right. And with the internet, we obviously, in social media, we have the ability to access over 2 billion people. And from that, people are going to come to us that actually want what we have, right? We don't have to go and spam people. We don't have to do any tacky marketing or tacky practices. So personal branding has really changed the game. And why it's a future-proof skill set is like, once you know that skill set, you can bring out any offer, like even the affiliate offer that we're going to talk about. Like if anything ever happened to that, we would know how to like build another offer, right? Because we know this skill set of becoming a digital marketer and, you know, really creating a personal brand around us. And then there's really 2 ways that you can do that. You can do that through organic, which means that it's actually free to build a brand and an audience, right? We teach you that inside of the academy. And then you can also use Facebook ads or Instagram ads, which means you put a little bit of an investment on them. They go, the ads go out and find the people that want what you have, and they're coming to you, right? Which is also beautiful automation. So there's these 2 ways. Like personally, I built most of what I've built based on organic marketing, which is really awesome because I haven't actually then had to even pay for advertising, right? But there is other people in our community that choose to do Instagram ads or Facebook ads, and they've literally built an audience from scratch in as little as 30 days and started then making money online, right? So if you're right now thinking, oh, I don't have an audience or I don't have anything to share, well, I'm going to call you on that because you do have stuff to share, and we're going to teach you exactly how to create content and really express your authentic message, right? And number 2 is we teach you literally from the ground up in this academy how to actually build a brand and a business and a legacy online in as little as 30 days, where you get to learn step by step how to actually launch your brand, how to create your content, and how to actually build an audience that want what you have. So I'm going to head over to Beck. She's going to share a little bit more about these pillars, and then we'll dig into a little bit more about how this academy works so you can see how all the 3 pillars actually come together.
So why the internet and why now? I don't even know if I really need to talk about this subject because I feel like you over the last couple of years have seen why the internet and why now. There has never been a better time to actually explore the world of social media and the internet. Like the fact that there are 5-year-olds and 10-year-olds making millions of dollars by reviewing toys, you know, like 10 years ago, this wasn't available. And the reality is that now people have access to billions of people all over the world. They have access to be able to create their own, TV show. Essentially, they can create their own brand by just being themselves. So it's really about creating a digital asset. And that is one of the smartest business moves that you can make right now. It's actually more lucrative than having a home, and having an asset that we have generally been taught, to create. So creating a digital asset that you have access to on platforms that are already free, which is really, really, really exciting.
And that you're already using.
Yeah.
Like
most people are. Who
consuming
isn't on social media, So it's like, do you want to get paid to scroll? Do you want to actually be someone that is adding value, that is someone that is actually creating content and not just consuming? So we actually really get paid to be ourselves. And this is a really powerful thing for me as someone that was the shake girl from a traditional network marketing space, really having to fall into line and be an ambassador for the brand that was the company. I wasn't actually the brand. So everything had to be health related. Everything had to be very specific. And I was really kind of like known as the shake girl. And you might be known as, the lipstick girl or the Tupperware girl or whatever that might be. Really being able to create a brand that is about me, that is about what I value, that is about the value that I get to share with the world, that is about my magic and my message and my gifts, and really just getting paid to show up as my authentic self. And I think there's so many people right now that want to be their fullest expression and really want to be in a space that supports them and gives them permission to really be their authentic self and really tap into their own magic. And that's what we get to do here by building a personal brand and leveraging these free platforms that we have on the internet. So if a 5-year-old can make millions and millions of dollars by literally talking about toys, I'm pretty sure that anyone can create an income online. And the beautiful thing about attraction marketing is that you really are attracting your soulmate business partners, clients to you. So gone are the days where you had to write lists and you had to go and look for people and you had to really sell to your friends and family and go out and find people to convince to buy your product. You literally have people blowing up your inbox and saying, I want what you have. I want to partner with you, coming to you because you have attracted them. So it's a very, very different energy. And God, it feels so much better, right? When you literally have, I haven't reached out to one person to talk to them about my business in the last 3.5 years. And coming from someone that used to literally talk to every single person that I ever came into contact with about my business because I was looking for people to actually join my business. And now I get to actually only speak to, work with, and align with the people that want what I have. So there's no more convincing, and that is a really, really beautiful place to be. That creates time freedom and leverage. And that also just creates a different energy when you're actually speaking to someone and working with someone. There is no convincing, there is no lists. There is really just a beautiful, authentic connection with people coming to you saying, I really want to work with you and I want what you have.
And the other beautiful thing about a personal brand is that, from being the shake girl, that's really how my brand started out. It was all about health. It was all about wellness. And even though that is something that I value and is, a priority for me, I'm about so much more, and now my brand has evolved, over the last 8 years to be a really incredible women empowerment coach. So, my brand now is about owning your worth, owning your wealth, and owning your voice and being your fullest expression. And the beautiful thing about a brand is it really gets to evolve with you. So when you're just with a product or a service and you have to kind of be restricted, whether, depending on what industry you're in, it can't really evolve with who you are and your own personal growth. So that's really why I love being a personal brand and teaching people personal branding, because it gets to evolve with you and all the different seasons and chapters and stages in your life, which we all know, we go through, as women, as men, as being in a couple, having babies, and just everything in between. We really get to show up as the authentic version of ourselves in the present moment. And that's really, really cool. Another really one of my, beautiful women that I've mentored, her brand is about horsey women, and she just attracts the most beautiful horsey women. That's who she is. She's a country girl, and she attracts the most incredible women that all want to create freedom and ride their horses and have beautiful farms and, do that. So it really is about
who you are and creating a brand based on your values and allowing that to evolve with you.
And the thing is, right, like with a personal brand, you could be selling the same or offering the same thing as everybody else, you know, thousands of other people, yet you're the brand, right? So what that means is there is no competition when it comes to personal branding, because people want to work with people they know, like, love and trust, right? Over like now 50% of purchases are actually coming from people rather than companies, which shows the increase in, you know, personal branding and understanding the fundamental skill sets of digital marketing, right? So with that, like, you know, take coaches, for example, or network marketers, for example. Like, how many people in coaching are having like the same types of products that they bring out, like the same types of programs, etc. But people are attracted to people they know, like, love and trust, and that they connect with and resonate with, right? And so same with network marketing. Like when you used to sell supplements, like your whole thing was to put supplements on your page, etc. On your socials.
So it's all about the product, you know, rather than about me and who I was.
Exactly. But with personal branding, like we get to, there is no competition, and we don't have to be anyone that we're not, right? We really just get to be ourselves and get paid to be ourselves.
There's actually no one else out there like us. Exactly. So it's actually a really great thing to be your unique self.
Exactly. And like so many people come into this academy, you know, having absolutely no idea about this stuff. Like, you know, some people come in, they've already got a brand, which is amazing. They want to scale that. They want to, you know, they want something to actually, you know, bring into their portfolio of offers. And some people have never built a brand, never used social media to actually create an income. And this is completely new to them. And that's the really cool thing about being in this space, is that we literally do teach you step by step. So for example, like, you know, we've got people who have come in and built a personal brand in as little as 30 days and started making high ticket sales in that first 30 days.
With no experience.
No prior experience. No audience, like no audience, no brand, and no prior experience. So this is what is actually possible. And, you know, just like Beck was saying, like your brand starts somewhere and it keeps evolving with you. So I started my brand as being like the raw food chick. I was talking about raw food and healing and all sorts of things online. And then now it's evolved. And now I talk more about like financial sovereignty and women empowerment and, you know, building a freedom lifestyle and all of that. And it's evolved with my journey. So that's the beautiful opportunity that comes with building a personal brand. And one thing that Beck and I are really big on is that you don't have to be on social media all the time to have a business on social media, right? Like that's why there's things like Instagram and Facebook ads and things like that. You can literally have an ad running 24/7 with people coming to you, right?
I'm probably on social, at the beach or shopping or with your family.
Exactly. And even growing it organically, like there's ways to do it where you literally could be on social media for 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day and be able to build a brand. This isn't about being on these platforms all the time and letting that consume us, right? This is about like leveraging the platforms, like really being able to leverage something that's already existed that does have a beautiful way for us to create value and income, but do it in a way where it doesn't take up all of our time.
Yeah, it's really, really important because we're here for time freedom. So I would say that I'm probably on social media half the amount of time that most people are on social media that make no money from social media. So it's very, very intentional. And for us to be able to really leverage what we have, it creates a beautiful balance of really creating this dream life, because the reality is we want to be out doing all of these things that we're passionate about. And we also want to be supporting people to create that with ease and with flow and in alignment with their values and in alignment with the lifestyle that they want to lead.
And then that leads us into, you know, having an irresistible offer and a profitable offer. Like we've just spoken before about the difference between low profit and high profit, right? And I think it's pretty clear that, you know, if you're wanting to make a smart business decision, it's about looking at something that is high profit, okay, that can give you a high return on investment. And so with that, we've got something in our platform that we actually, you know, support you with, to partner with, if you choose to partner with that. Over 90% of the people that come through our platform choose to partner with it because it just makes sense in every single way. And we're going to take you through that in a moment. So what this platform actually does is we give you literally all of the education and the support to grow your brand around who you are. Okay. So that means we have beautiful masterclasses, we have courses, and we have like a launch your business course to actually support you to do that. And we bring in the best of the best. Like, we pour a lot of investment into bringing people into the platform that are at the top of their game. Like, I'm talking the top Facebook ad specialist is in our platform. I'm talking people who have been, created 7 and 8 figure, multiple 7, 8 figure empires that are in our platform teaching our members.
That's literally a step-by-step of how to launch your business.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one part. Then we've got the high profit offer that we recommend as an affiliate offer, and we're going to go through that in a moment. And then we have automation, where we teach you things like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, to have your business run on automation. But we built automation inside the platform, meaning that if you choose to align with that offer that we have all the webinars set up for you. We have funnels set up for you. We have ebooks set up for you, checkout pages. We have all these tools that you can come in and start leveraging to actually make an immediate income. Mm-hmm. So then we also have, like, you're about to have your call with your digital business specialist to see, do you want to leverage the offer that we recommend? Do you want to leverage the education? Okay. And that call is being done by someone in our platform, meaning that if you choose to partner with us in this way, you don't actually have to be doing your own calls.
That was a big one for me. Mm-hmm. When I came from a space of doing a lot of the business stuff myself, when I was, like you said, wearing many, many hats, when I actually came and looked at this business opportunity and I actually saw the automated platform, that for me was a hell yes. That for me was, this is actually doing all of the heavy lifting of business. This is hours and hours of work of explaining, the business, of explaining the product, of explaining the opportunity, of doing a call with someone. I can see how this is going to create not even just more money with the high ticket offer, but actual time freedom and leverage. So this was actually the business decision, the smart business decision that I actually made 3.5 years ago, was because of this automation and leverage, because it really does all of the heavy lifting for you. And this for me was a no-brainer after coming from someone that had built quite a successful business, but really doing it in a very labor intensive way, which led to hustle and burnout.
Mm-hmm. So that's really the trifecta of success, right? That's what our academy supports you to do, is build a personal brand. With that skill set, you've built something that's future-proof that you can launch any offer with. We show you an offer that we feel ticks all of the boxes and that our community absolutely love. And we also then support you to run that offer on automation. And what I really love about this industry is that, unlike a corporate structure where you've got a CEO at the top, managers, supervisors, employees, those employees cannot out-earn a CEO. It takes years and years and years to actually work your way up the corporate ladder, in order to earn maybe like a couple of $100K a year. It could take 15 years to get there. Whereas with this structure, it's an 8-point patented system. So what that actually means is, like, people can earn more than I do or Beck do. And I actually love it when our community earn more than I do, right? That's what actually lights me up, is seeing other people win. And so I love that, anyone can get started with this and actually earn more than a person who is maybe a bit further ahead of their journey. And that truly is what I call a fair business model.
Because it really is based on effort. And I think that's a really, really important thing, because in a usual structure, it doesn't really matter how much time, effort, and energy you put in. You're never going to out-earn someone that is, like, above you in kind of like the ranks, right? And what happens here is that anyone can actually put the time, energy, effort, and love and passion in, and they can out-earn anyone in the business, whether they've been around for 5 or 10 years or not. So this is a really, really fair way for people to actually get paid what they're worth and what they invest back into themselves and their business.
Mm-hmm. So with this business, like, I've reached a point of legacy in this business, which is Dash 3, and Beck's super, super close to Dash 3 at the time of filming this video, which is really exciting. And what that actually means is, I've built, like, over a couple of years, I've been able to build the foundations and build this as an asset and, really build this to a point where it will keep scaling with or without me. And, like, for example, right now I'm filming this, I'm 32 weeks pregnant, about to have our third baby, and I'm about to take, 3 or 4 months out of my business so that I can enjoy that time. I want to be able to enjoy these special moments in life without having to, ask someone for time off or take maternity leave or
not be paid.
Not be paid.
Maternity leave.
I want to be able to have an income that keeps scaling and growing with or without me, right? That's a true smart business model. And that's exactly what I've been able to create.
And I've many times over this last 3.5 years that I've been in this business, taken months off at a time and gone to health retreats and gone and sat in sacred ceremony and gone and really recharge myself, because I'm all about honoring self and ease and flow and taking time out and really recharging as a human so that I'm not working all the time. And I've made money regardless and my business has built regardless. So I think it's a really important piece in the legacy and building the foundations to create that 6A2-3 legacy income so that you really can take the time off that you need and you're building something that's long-term, especially for your future family. All of your babies, are going to have this incredible gift of having a legacy business that is going to be passed down to them, which is really beautiful. And I think for so many parents, such a really big reason why they actually build this business.
Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into the last section of the discovery process, which is all around what offer we actually have chosen to partner with and that we recommend. And we're going to break down exactly why. And you can see how this could be something that can support you to create what you've gotten really clear on through this discovery process. Process. Now, this is the most important module before you have your call. So please make sure that you have watched this in full so that you can fully understand the offer that we recommend, why we recommend it, why it's in an industry that is booming, and how it can actually really support you with your goals. The company that we offer and have chosen to partner with, and thousands of people have chosen to partner with, is a company called Enagic. Now, Enagic has been around for almost 50 years. And it's a company that has a 500-year vision. And they create Japanese water ionizer medical devices that literally turn your home into a toxic-free sanctuary and have over 68 uses of the water, right? Most people don't understand the importance of hydration and water. And, there's a lot of studies that show that people aren't sick, they're actually just dehydrated. You're going to learn more about the actual product and how it works and all of that in the next videos. But we really want to talk first and foremost a little bit about our journey and why we chose this offer, and also this industry that this offer is actually in. So Enagic is in the direct sales industry, and it's the only direct sales company that actually has a high ticket product with a high ticket compensation model. It has an 8-point patented compensation plan, which you'll find out more about shortly. But that basically just means that it's literally like the best of the best. There's nothing like this. No one can copy it. No one can recreate it. And they can't change the compensation model. And for me, when I was trying to find something that would support me to really make that freedom lifestyle happen, for me, I was literally looking at every single company, model, compensation plan that there was, and there was nothing that came close to this. This industry has also created more female millionaires than any other industry.
Which is pretty exciting.
Which is very exciting.
That excites me.
Very, very much so. Very much so. And we have, so many men are part of this community as well, and men, really thrive inside of this industry. But it's super cool that, out of any industry out there, it's actually created the most wealthiest women. Right? 90% of women that are wealthy across the globe have come from the direct sales industry. And so what we're really about is we have really wanted to revolutionize how this industry is actually done. And Beck's going to talk more about that in a moment, but do it in a way that's really elegant and it's creating a whole new way of it actually being done. Right, without having to spam people or sell, your friends and family things at their barbecues, etc. So what I love about this company is that both the product and business has the potential of creating a really high return on investment. Now, we've actually done some numbers. Because this device, you can actually replace a lot of the harmful toxins or chemicals or whatever that you use for cleaning on your skin, all these different ways that you can use it. If you were to replace all of those, you would actually, just by having the product, save over $80,000 to $100,000. Right, just by having this as a product.
And that's just the product alone. Like, I think I would probably spend more than that on bottled water before this. Personally, I used to buy a lot of bottled water because I actually wanted to drink really clean water, even before I knew that bottled water actually wasn't that clean. So I used to spend a lot of money on that before I got one of these incredible machines in my house.
Yeah. And that's not even also including, obviously, then the business return on investment, right? Like with the compensation model, you know, it can take 5 to 7 people purchasing products in order to actually get to a point where you've made a return on investment and then start to be in profit. And I don't know any other like company or way that you can actually be in profit after not that many sales in your business. So as an example, and I explained this in one of the other videos, like I've got another business, we have sold, you know, hundreds, thousands.
How many
of
units
products.
have you actually sold in
thousands,
that?
Thousands, and we still haven't been in profit, right? This is
crazy.
the thing when we talk about like smart business assets, smart business vehicles, right? It's looking at what is a model where I could make this amount of sales, then have a return on investment, and then be in profit.
And this is really why I joined this business, you know, because I did come from a space where I was in traditional network marketing and I was with a low ticket product. And guys, I walked away from a 6-figure residual income where my income got cut in a day. I had no savings. I had built that business for 4 years and I literally walked away from that business and that income with the ranks and the money and everything to come into this business because of the high ticket offer, because of the compensation plan, and because of the automation that this business provided. And that was a really big thing for, you know, to walk away from something
Huge.
like that. But I knew as a professional in this industry, I knew after what I had done and built for 4 years that this is where I was actually going to find the income that I wanted to make. And this was actually going to create the time freedom that I so desperately wanted in my old company. So that is like really saying a lot. Like if you're in this industry, or if you know, even if you're not in this industry and you're looking at it, if you're looking at, you know, different companies and direct selling, network marketing, this industry is incredible. I've been part of it for 8 years now and I absolutely love it because it really gives people an opportunity, the everyday person, to become an entrepreneur, to be able to create an income and to be able to do it on their terms. So I kind of fell into my last company because I love the products. And again, I still use the products to this day, but I really had to make a smart business move. And when you are looking at compensation plans and you are looking at return on investment and you are looking at profit, it just makes sense to partner with a high ticket product. And there is nothing else out there that has a high ticket product in this industry. So it was a no-brainer for me. Plus the automation and the leverage that we have, and then the education. So it really was such a big decision that I had to make, and it was absolutely the right one. I'm so grateful every day that I really made such a smart business decision. And I think when you guys actually go through the next videos and look at the compensation plan and you really understand how this works, you are going to see the opportunity that is available for you to create massive success here. And really revolutionizing the industry. This is a big one for us. We are both so passionate about revolutionizing this industry because a lot of it has come from, I mean, this is where I came from in the background. This is how I was taught to do network marketing, to build lists and to talk to everyone and to prospect and, you know, to slide into people's DMs and, you know, all of this kind of
Like
stuff. Harass people, basically. And look, the reality is that 20 years ago, that's actually how you built this industry. And that is totally okay. Like I actually really honor all of those people that went first and all of those people that had to go around to people's homes and do parties and talk about their products. Like that's how this industry was built. But the reality is that we actually don't have to work like that anymore because we have the internet and we have social media and we have other ways to actually build this in a really authentic way that aligns with our values. And to be honest, harassing people and trying to convince people that didn't actually want to buy what I had didn't feel very aligned to me. And that's another big reason that I really moved over to this space. And I wanted to be able to build a personal brand that was based on me, not my product. And I also just wanted to learn the skills of attraction marketing. And when I learnt those skills coming from this, you know, background where, and I'm sorry if I've ever slid into your DMs because I used to do that quite a lot for 4 years and it didn't feel very good. And coming from that space to really be able to build an authentic brand and really learn the skills of attraction marketing has absolutely changed everything for me, not just with my income, not with just, you know, my team and supporting people, but actually truly aligned and authentic to how I want to build a business. So this is really how we are revolutionizing the industry. And we're just getting started, to be honest. Like, we have big visions, big plans. We are working with a community of people that are also really wanting to build authentic ways of doing this business. And I think over the next, you know, 5 years, 2 to 5 years, we're going to see some really big shifts in this industry. And I am really, really, you know, grateful that we actually get to be part of it and we get to teach people how to do this in a different way without the burnout, without the struggle, and without being broke. So that's really something that we are going to teach you inside of this so that you can build a business that is aligned to you, your values and your vision, and really be part of an exciting industry that is going to shake stuff up and revolutionize how we actually serve people, how we sell products, and how we really impact the planet for humanity to evolve in the way that we really want it to. And we all get to be part of that, which is really, really cool.
And how I got started with this industry and with this product and with this particular company was I mentioned in one of the other videos, one of the business adventures that I discovered along my kind of 6-year journey of a struggling entrepreneur was network marketing. And I was doing all of these parties and people wouldn't show up. And I was like, you know, the person like selling these supplements at my friends' barbecues and all of this stuff. And I was taught all these things. And I loved what the industry stood for. Like, I loved that people could actually truly create like leverage here, and, you know, they could actually start to free up their time and money and all of these amazing things. But I didn't like how I was being taught to do things. And so I ended up leaving that company. And that's when I went and had like a traditional business, and I tried an eBay store, and I tried all these different things. And yet in the back of my mind, I still all the time thought about this industry. Like, I still had this like, yeah, I really like the industry, but I don't want to do it like that. And that's when I started to pull apart a lot of different companies' compensation plans and models and products and all of that. And for years, I literally looked at every single company out there, everything. I looked at it all. I had all of the calls, and I was making a real due diligence process by checking it all out. And, you know, I actually got introduced to this as a product first and foremost. So with this actual product, I didn't get introduced to it as so much a business. I got introduced to it as a product after I had my nervous breakdown and after I had stage 5 adrenal fatigue. One of the big things of how I was introduced to this was around education, actually, from my now husband, who was teaching me about like water. He was very much into Masaru Emoto's work and how, you know, we can really like the energy of water actually makes such a big difference to our body, right? And so what I started to understand from what he was sharing with me was that, you know, like, I just had a raw food cafe, for example. I was giving people organic whole food, but then I was actually serving tap water. And what I started to realize was our body is made up of 70% water. Our planet is mostly water. And it's so important to understand the types of water that we're putting into our body. And I
never knew that either until I was introduced to this product. Like, I really didn't know.
Yeah, so many people in like the health or wellness space aren't even across this stuff. Like, they're drinking bottled water, they're drinking acidic water, they're drinking like, you know, reverse osmosis. They're drinking all of these types of water that actually aren't hydrating for the body, right? To actually ensure that the body remains in balance. And so like, I bought this product, and then I found out that there was this amazing compensation plan. And I was like, wow, like, this literally is the compensation plan and model that I've been looking for this whole entire time. But the thing was I didn't want to be the water sales chick, right? I didn't want to be that chick. I just didn't. I just was like really resistant to it. I could see the potential. I loved it. And I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to have people over at my home all the time and doing all these water demos and all of this stuff, even though like I loved what the product stood for. And then it wasn't until I was in a position 4.5 years ago where I had a baby on the way and I was literally like asking for something that could support me, that I actually realized there was a way that I could do this online, that there was a really beautiful way where I could build a brand around myself, where I could leverage automation and leverage education and all of that to actually build this business. And so that's basically been the journey, and that's how everything took off for me. And, when my husband got started with this, like, he didn't have the money. Like, he was actually going to start his own water business because he was so into Masaru Emoto's work. But he was 31, living with his mum on Centrelink, and did not have the resources to get started. But he found a way out of no way. He literally borrowed some money off his mum, off his dad, off his sister. And he was like, cool, I'll pay back in 30 days. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to find a way out of no way, and I'm going to do it. And in that time, in 30 days, he went 3A, which we'll learn about in a moment. And he was able to start paying back that money that he had borrowed. Right. So he didn't let that limit him. He didn't let the fact that he didn't have money limit him, because he saw the potential and he saw the opportunity. And now he is the top earner. He's one of the highest ranked distributors in the world, and he's built an incredible empire and an incredible life, and been able to
actually got started us both on this journey, which has been incredible, So by one person going first, you don't understand the ripple effect that it can actually have. And I know you are very grateful, and I'm very grateful that he actually went first and he introduced me to this, because this has changed my life. And then I've gone on to help thousands of people just like you have as well. So the ripple effect here, just by you going first and you actually being able to have an opportunity to share this with people, is going to make such an impact that you don't even realize yet.
Exactly. And so now it's like, I'm not the water sales chick. Like, this is one of my offers. This is my most highly profitable offer that I have, but I'm able to build a brand around myself. And, it was by my hubby, really going first and really taking the courage and having the courage to actually, go first and find a way out of no way, that he's now created this huge empire, right? And an asset that literally will keep building with or without him. So what I also love about, this offer and company and industry is we're in the health industry, which is a $1 trillion industry. And also this company has gone up 17% in these global times, right? So it's not going anywhere. It's not a fad product, right? Like, everybody needs water. We cannot live without water. So it's an irresistible offer that people literally want, need, and love, and cannot even live without. And this device is the best of the best in the market, right? Nobody can copy it. No one can do anything to it. Nobody can, steal the idea or anything like that. It is the best of the best. And what I love is that Enagic as a company will never ever use tacky marketing in order to sell their product. So for example, like a lot of say water filters or ionizers, what they'll do in order to sell their product is they will write a blog and bag out like the inferior product, right? So they'll actually write like a bad review in order to sell their product. Enagic doesn't need to do that, because they are the best of the best, right? They are the leading company in this industry. So
there's no competition.
Exactly.
So see how there's actually no competition anywhere. There's no competition with the product, and there's actually no competition when you build a personal brand, which is the beautiful thing about both you doing this industry this way by building a personal brand, because there is no competition, and the product actually has no competition either.
Exactly. And it's not a fad product. Like, that's the thing when people get involved in companies, they're like, oh, is it reached saturation point, or is it going to is it going to kind of expire? And it's like, well, no, because we're all going to be drinking water, and it's still only like 1 in 1,000 people even know about this company yet, right? So it's like, it's still got so much potential. And what I love is that this company is built around legacy, around actually building generational wealth that can be passed down to your children. Like, the founder has a 500-year vision, and this has already been around for almost 50 years. That's like working with a Japanese company. It is so incredible because they actually have a long-term vision. They're always forward thinking.
This is a company that you can trust. And that was a big one coming from me after already being in the industry and being with another company. I also did my due diligence about the company, how long it had been around. There's a couple of things that you really need to check when you're partnering with a company, and that is, not a startup and not anyone that's been around for less than 10 years.
Yeah.
And, really making sure that the company has this big vision. And when you can trust a company to be around, they've already been around for 50 years and they already have the vision to be around for the next 500 and a plan for that. That is a company that you can actually really trust to put your heart and soul in to build. And that's really, really important.
Yeah, like we can actually plant our flag here and know that we can actually build a long-term, sustainable, scalable business income and impact here. Whereas, like, honestly, a lot of the companies that I looked at, I was like, they'd been around for a couple of years. I didn't really know, like, where they were even going to be heading or if their product would even stand the test of time. And this one has. So what you're going to do now is you're going to meet some of our amazing community. Like, community is such a big part of this platform in a way that we, like, celebrate each other and co-create and do all these amazing things together. So you're going to meet them, some of our community, in the next video. And then you're going to learn the ins and outs of this product. So how the product actually works, like the science behind the product, why this product, and also we're going to go deep into the compensation plan and how you can get started. Now, there's so many different ways for you to get started on whatever budget that you are on, and you're going to be able to talk to your digital business specialist about the best way for you to get started. Like in Australia, for example, and I'm not saying this is everywhere, but in Australia, we have one option where you can literally get started $0 down on finance, right? That's pretty awesome. So you're going to be able to discover this for yourself and the best way to get started. I urge you that when you start to go through these next videos, you listen to the actual facts and the science, right? Because as I mentioned, there's people who, of course, will pull apart the company and, talk bad about it or whatever in order to sell their product. So we're going to give you the actual facts and the actual science and the actual data so that you can actually understand how this actually works.